pause right here, go watch The Gate, and then you can jump right back in. What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of After the Last Rental, where I bring the poor.
And I bring the gore. I'm Zach.
I'm Mike, and if you're new around here, this is how it works. So Zach picks a tape from his home rental store, which you see in behind him, and I pick what we are drinking. So Zach, what do you have for us tonight?
Oh, today we have 1987's The Gate.
Zach, what does the back of the box say?
We're in for a doozy because this one got quite the paragraph. All right. Haunting visions fill a once peaceful home as two teens discover an unholy evil that awaits below. Friends Glenn and Terry stumble across a special rock with a beautiful crystalline center in Glenn's backyard. The rock enthralls them, and they dig up the family's newly sodded lawn in search of more precious stones. They find no stones. They find the gate, a hidden underground chamber that holds the secrets of centuries and the vengeance of eternity. That is quite some vengeance. They've unlocked deadly demons and ghoulish fiends out to create a hell on earth. The kids' worst nightmares chase them throughout the haunted night. The gate must be closed before it's too late.
That was a mini essay. This is like, you know what I love about
Dude.
this is pre-AI. Like someone sat there and wrote this. That's how they felt about uh, the gate.
Yeah, yeah, somebody knocked it out of the park that day at work. Like,
Got it.
of all the back of movies I've read, like that was probably like the nicest worded one. Like this dude's just like, I'm getting a raise today. Like
All right. So I need a pour. For this one here, I was thinking about the gate, right? Like on the nose and like gateway bourbon to, not the first bourbon I've tried, but like the gateway to like the rabbit hole that is like being a whiskey or bourbon enthusiast. And for me, it was Buffalo Trace. And I think it was one of the first that I poured into my Glen, pun intended, with our main character for the evening. And just like Glenn, this was like, my deep dive where I feel like it was a bit more elevated. It wasn't like the bar rail stuff that I was just shooting at bars or throwing on the rocks. So I'm going to pour some of this. Do you have yours on hand?
what I'm
Oh, we got a
hoping is
bottle
Buffalo
kill.
Trace, and hopefully not just like backwash. Like,
The bottom of the bottle can get very interesting.
oh, I've noticed. I feel
Um,
like the bottom of the bottle is normally where I get interesting.
quick hot take though, I will say this. I'm drinking a single barrel, and this is from the store I go to, Supermarket Liquor and Wines, and not just because I'm a fan of the store, but this is my first Buffalo Trace single barrel, and wow, like this thing here, I'll tell you right now, the hot take is like stop chasing the Elmer T. Lees. I've got to try some of these things along the way, but these single barrels, typically they say it's like 7 to 8 years old, and these taste way older. So I mean, they don't have to state how old they are, but with the whole like bourbon surplus, the barrel surplus right now, I wouldn't be surprised if it's older stock because this thing tastes like a Stag Junior. So for 30 something dollars, I'm gonna go back and pick up a few more.
Yeah, I'm j- just regular.
All right, Zach. Well, cheers. Let's get into this.
Cheers.
All right, so this is the fun part. This is where we go through the three sip system. We go through the nose, the initial impressions. How did we feel going to the movie? Is there any memories attached to it? We'll get into palate, core flavors, what worked, acting kills, story, atmosphere. And then at the end, we look at the finish and what resonated with us, the lingering impact, and what sticks with us. So I'll kick this one off in terms of like the nose and first impressions. I knew nothing, and it was kind of fun because I feel like it's a cover I definitely crossed paths with time to time. Um, I usually pride myself on, my stories always like growing up and taking the risks with, a cover art that I didn't know. And this one here just never had the chance to watch it. So zero expectations. Pretty much how it went down was like Zach threw it at me, which this actually happens, even though we jump on here and we say Zach grabbed something. He literally grabbed the gate, and I had to find a copy to watch online, and it was on YouTube, by the way. If you want to do your homework, pause right here, go watch the gate, and then you can jump right back in and
Yeah,
hear all the spoilers. Um,
avoid the spoils.
but yeah, but I will say this, like my key thing going into this is that it made it a lot of fun knowing nothing, not even looking into it, just other than kind of knowing what the cover art looked like and figuring I'll just kind of like dive in and see how it goes.
Well, so on the nose for this movie, uh, I remember like so this movie would be on TV a lot growing up, or at least it always felt like it was on TV a lot growing up. This was like one of those. It was like one of those fever dream movies, like for a long time. And then I watched it, I was like, this is all the same movie. Like, like there's there's a lot of facets. There's a lot of this movie wears a lot of hats.
What was this watch here like the first time it all kind of got pieced together properly?
No, I watched it like a while ago when I first got this tape, which was fucking heckin' a while ago. Like I don't know, maybe I don't know. I think I first time watched it was in my old house, so like probably like 2020.
Okay.
But I remember thinking like, oh, I thought these were several different movies. Because like you know what I mean? Like when you were a kid, you turn on a movie, you'd like watch something for a little bit, and then like stop watching it, and
Yeah.
then I don't know, like I was like, oh, I remember this, and then like further down the road, like, oh, I remember this, and then further down the road, like, oh, I remember this. Like, dude, it was like I solved a lot of questions in one night that day. Like,
Yeah.
it was pretty sweet.
Um, so we'll go into palette, like core flavors, what worked, what didn't work. I feel like this one had me torn, not to give anything away off the bat, but I was kind of flip-flopping between things I liked and what, kind of I had some issues with. But one of the things I will say, even at an older age, now watching it for the first time, the whole like geode and digging up the backyard, I feel like as children, like I did a lot of that stuff. We kind of pride ourselves as like, a lot of us millennials were like, oh, we were outside and till the sun went down, and it's true, like we were out there doing stuff. I always talk about me and my cousin being like the adventure kids, and we do stuff like that. Now the only thing here is I would never be able to like dig up a hole in my backyard or like touch the sod of like my Italian father's backyard. Like that wasn't going to happen. Like I'd have to go do that in by the ravine or something. Like I'm not.
Wait, were you guys like, was your dad like a Virgin Mary statue of stone in the backyard Italian?
His father was, but he kind of just still like did the whole like maintenance, like pristine lawn. But like hit my nono, like my grandfather, he comes from like the religious figures, the lion at the end of the driveway, like the stone lion. He would water the driveway. There's some people water the grass. Like he would just every day water the driveway as well, just to clean it off.
Yeah, get
Um,
that fucking pollen out of here.
but
Heckin'
quick
pollen out of here.
yeah, but here's a quick thing that I will add in here, just because I thought it was fun when we watched it, and it kind of sent me down the rabbit hole, and that's like obviously the overarching theme here. But when Zach and I were watching, we did have a fun like kind of watch along, and we were chatting kind of back and forth. So in the beginning, they're having dinner, and HP sauce is on the table, and I made comment on HP sauce being very Canadian thing, or I guess like British Canadian. And sure enough, I look into where this was filmed because even like the neighborhood looked semi familiar. Not that I've been there, but like, you've seen it before. And this was filmed 30 minutes from me in Vaughan, Ontario, which is a very, very big Italian population, which further reinforces the only part that like's not the most plausible is like no one's going in that backyard and digging up the sod and a fresh sod. Like any parent's not allowing that. And then when I looked even further, so the best part is they used a house in Vaughan, but the owner, I'm gonna guess he was Italian, didn't allow them to dig up the hole for reals, so they had to make a sound stage to do the whole like digging up the hole.
You could use your house, yeah, but don't backyard.
He's like, okay, listen, you can use it in the backyard, you can use it in the house, but no digging up the grass, okay? Now I go water
Well,
the
it's
driveway.
how big's the hole? Like, I remember watching in the seeing the HP sauce on the table and was like, yeah, this isn't American. Like, like it
It
is
was a
so
clear
hard to get
giveaway.
it. It's so hard to find HP sauce here. I tell you what, believe you me. I think they carry it at Myers, but yeah. Anyways, HP
If
sauce.
if not, I'll make sure to send you a box down.
I don't have to. I don't like it that much. All right, so the gate to me is like one of the most it's like the perfect example of an 80's movie, like a movie that's just like when you think of like going to a video store and picking up an 80's horror movie that's just a little over the top, a little like zany, and 80's.
Yeah.
Things are fun. You're allowed to do cool things in the 80's, like drive Trans Ams and kill your best friend's dog. But it's like
It's all
like
excusable.
this it's like the perfect example of like let's write a movie. So like the brother and sister, they're just they get a hole in their backyard, and then immediately after the parents like, all right, sick, well, we're getting out of here. Like, see ya. I hope there's not demons in that hole.
Now, I'll interrupt you for a second. I would say this is not really that realistic, but I feel like it kind of was back then because like with the 80's parents, they're just like, yeah, I'm gonna go like there's a hole in the backyard, but nothing's getting in the way of our retreat that we're going on. So
Yeah.
good luck.
I got sweet, sweet tickets to Jimmy Buffett. You ain't ruining this for me, Jimmy. Like, but no. So like, I mean, it's relatable because I mean, me and my brother were like latchkey kids, but like,
Yeah.
so like it was like big hole in the ground. Parents was like, see ya. Like, I'm pretty sure when we bought this house, the guy was like, hey, if a hole opens up in the backyard, just get out for a little while.
Yeah,
Like,
just put the saw down, let it rest.
don't bleed in it for sure. Definitely don't. Like, but like, so like, the kids are on their own. Immediately throw a party. Realistic. That's what everybody did. If somebody's gone, like if your parents are gone, like yeah, we're throwing a rager.
Yeah.
But then like, you know, they're like, maybe you should have noticed something was aloof when they started playing witchcraft games. The kid floats to the ceiling. And they're like, sometimes it happens, right? Like that. Like this is why we play this game. He's like, shit like that will happen sometimes. Like, no, it doesn't. Like, and they just drop him, and uh,
They're like, whoa. Poor kid. He's like, what just happened? He hit his head on the ceiling and drops, and he just like, they're like,
yeah.
listen, you need to, they're like, like, you need to go to bed.
Like Steven Dorff's just, embarrassed because he's crying because he just fell 12 feet. Like
Yeah.
at like
Like,
the what is he like 8 or something? I don't know. And then, so like Steven Dorff's having a pretty bad time right out the gate. And then his buddy starts sleepwalking and kills his dog. Like he like thinks the dog is his dead mom's a dog or
yeah. So he has this apparition of like his mom showing up in the house through the door, and he's hugging his mom, and then
in
somehow kills
reality
the
he's just
dog.
choking out a dog.
Yeah.
Like, and then like the next morning, Steven Dorff's just like, it's all right. He was old anyways. Like,
Yeah.
bro, you
He
killed your
just
dog.
he almost like he's like, yeah, he was 96 anyway, so I guess he was up there. The real horror here is the sister, like how dismissive she is to everything. Like her name's Al, and yeah, like her brother hits the ceiling, like the black magic works. Like what was okay. The fun aspect is that like we did that stuff growing up. We do like Sandman, where like, oh, you won't be able to sit up if we like do this thing and do Sandman on your laying down. There's a weight on your body. We tried to do like Zach didn't participate in this, but
That's a new one to me.
so
What?
the scene that they did there with like the two fingers, I tried to do. I don't know what kind of like shindigs I was at, but I remember like
Yeah,
trying to,
that one I remember. I remember
yeah.
sandbags.
Sandman, but
What?
Sandman made you feel like you had sandbags on you, and I think it was just a
Oh,
mental thing. Like you would just kind of like go over their shoulders, their head, and be like, "Oh, like Sandman." I don't know. There's a whole spiel you say, and then they can't like sit up. They're like, "Oh, like there's a weight on me, and I can't move." Um,
oh no.
but this dog, yeah, like the first of all, like depicting what's the friend's name, Terry. Terry, yeah.
Terry.
Yeah, Terry, he sees his mom and she had passed. So they referenced earlier that she had passed on, and that's why he's into satanic metal music because Satanic Panic of the 80s. Of course, like they're like, yeah, his mom died. That's why he's into that weird stuff. Like I didn't know you mourn your mother with like really good rock music, but I mean, sure, like
Oh no, my mom's dead.
yeah,
I'm gonna go listen to Venom.
yeah.
Like, that's, I mean,
Um,
that's a pretty cool way to mourn.
Yeah.
Like,
And kudos to Terry because right away you commented on his vest.
oh
And
yeah.
one quick note that was fun was that Terry then on his patch he has a Killer Dwarfs and Killer Dwarfs. I was looking into it. There's a band from Oshawa from the Schwa, and if you're from anywhere in Ontario, you'd refer to it as the Schwa. But I was like, okay, this is really like this, like even musically is a Canadian production. And then one of my favorite songs was the party scene, like Love Will Find a Way. Tried to Shazam it, didn't work. Went on Spotify, couldn't find it. And then I find out that there's this guy, Vince Carlucci, Italian, and I told you this area full of Italians watering the driveway in the grass. And he was part of a Toronto punk band called the Cardboard Brains. And they recruited him and they're like, dude, we need some music for this whole thing. And he was like, I got you. You want some new wave? You want some. But he was in a punk band in Toronto.
Dude, don't worry, dude. I got just put out the sickest demo tape ever. Just there you go. You're welcome.
And I dug it though, dude. That party song that just kept playing for 10 minutes, like it was solid. It had this like new wave vibe. I didn't expect it to come from, this guy who was in a Toronto punk band called the Cardboard Brains, but I dig it. Love will find a way. We need to get it on Spotify because or maybe I'll look for the Gate vinyl.
Ooh, I
That's
gotta
that
just put the song right here,
song.
and then it just starts playing, and then me and Mike be like, just new wave it, new wave it. Thanks, Mal. You're the best.
Um, One other thing I want to say that like, and it's there's like a foil here because it's gonna be something I complain about later, but the effects in the film I did enjoy for the most part. Specifically the like when the parents come home, but it's like the demon version, and
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, and they're gushing eyes, like it's nightmare fuel. Like, and I think about like, okay, like realistically, imagine you think you see your parents, it's like a version of them, and like their faces start melting away and start oozing. Um, Horrifying. But then also, what's crazy is that it got a PG-13 rating, which I found out like after like that this still passed as like, yeah, like maybe parental guidance at 13 and you'll be good. But again, I guess that kind of just speaks to how he grew up. But yeah, like the practical effects, I think in this film they kind of picked and chose where I guess the budget was spent. But in that there, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, and I think I thought the effects were great. Uh like between the eyeballs and then like the stop motion monsters were like pretty sick. And but the telephone melted, like that was cool. No, the PG-13, like so like this movie had pretty much no blood, right? It was
True.
just when that kid like got us like a splinter. I think it was like the only oh, and then when he stabbed his hand eyeball, a lot of questions there. Didn't
Yeah.
understand where that happened. But yeah, and then like I didn't think about it when I was watching it, but like getting my thoughts together for this expose of
Of the
of
gate.
thought. But I didn't realize like nobody died in this whole movie except the dog, and then the dog comes back to life. So that's like it's technically a -1.
You know what, Zach? Now you're really showing us how we got this PG-13 rating. Is that? But you know what? Like I think a fun thing is that it really reminded me watching this now of like it was like this like love child of like Are You Afraid of the Dark? And like I guess like it made me think of like Evil Dead just because like the Necronomicon kind of like you say the curse, there's like it comes from the ground and like you resurrect these like demons and whatever. Um but yeah, I never really thought about. There's no blood. There's technically no deaths because everyone's on the porch at the end. They're like, "Geez, golly, how are we going to tell mom and dad?"
We're fine. We're fine. We're all fine. Except, like, okay, okay. On this movie, the part that, all right, the back end of this movie gets so exciting. Like, it's like they throw so many things at the wall and they all stick. Like, it's so good. So, like, you got, okay, so you got, the little demons coming out of the ground. The little dudes that when you smash them, they turn into like little sperm boys, right? Little swimmers,
Yeah.
which was interesting choice. Whatever. Maybe that's how demons work. Who am I to say? I don't know. I never met one that I know of. But so you got, the tiny demons, which apparently the guy that did those did a lot of work on Lord of the Rings. He's like the fucking the forced perspective guy. He
Oh
makes
wow.
everything like he's really good at making things look little. Like he's
Yeah, because
just
weren't
he's
weren't
just the
the
make it little guy.
I don't know if I'm just making this up in my mind now, but weren't they saying that the little like stop motion demons didn't they say there was like actual like real people in rubber suits that they then like shrunk
Yeah,
down?
yeah. There's parts where there was rubber suits and then there's stop motion parts.
Yeah, okay. So I'm right. So
See,
yeah,
that's how good he is. You thought they're all just little puppets. Nah,
no,
dude, full size dudes.
yo,
Like
no wonder he got the Lord of the Rings gig.
this guy's really good. He'll
Yeah.
make anything look small. It's great.
Like this is where, I will just say this, and because I think maybe this is where we're heading, is that like for me, it's like super exciting, but even when we were talking about it, we're like, what is the plot? Like, where is this going? Because they really are throwing everything at the wall, and it's almost like it's entertaining, but at the same time, I'm like, you need to give me kind of like a through line here. I don't really know exactly what's going on or how do we defeat the demons. Like at one point, they're reading like the Bible and they're like, oh, read Psalm 59, and they're like, oh, the hole's closing. It's the Bible is helping. Right? But like that doesn't change that Vincente was like the Italian construction worker was stuck in the wall. And like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, it's very disjointed. And there's just a whole lot going on, right? And then like they keep showing the jar of moths because this is like a greater metaphor for however you want to interpret like the moth.
Dude, this movie's callbacks. It's like the whole movie was just like, remember that.
Yeah, we
like,
we we
like,
panned and froze the frame on that for a few seconds.
like, yeah. I wonder why Kate keeps talking about rockets. Like, you think it's gonna like like oh man, my sister got rid of this rocket I really wanted, and they finds the rocket like oh sick, I got my sister this gift to launch that rocket, and then yeah,
And at the
like
beginning, they're both wearing rocket shirts. Like he's wearing a rocket jacket, and she's wearing like an Apollo or some kind of like they're both dressed in, and this is before like H&M got cheap licensing to like NASA to merch. But like he had his jacket and he had his patches like rockets and whatnot, and she had a t-shirt that had like alluded to like NASA or something. And yeah, this film was really trying to drive that home. Like remember we foreshadowed this earlier, like the importance of their love and connection through rockets.
yeah, like yeah. I mean, I think like a lot of the story, like I don't know. I think they were like trying to like the for plot device that like Steven Dorff was getting, like my sick sister's like trying to make out with boys now. Like I just want to shoot off rockets with my sister. It was like
Yeah.
one of those things. It was like kind of wholesome at the end, but like all right. So we got just to keep track on how insane the end of this movie is.
Yeah. We need to do a tally here, Zach. Reel us in.
We got melting face parents, melting telephone, little tiny ghouls coming out of your a hole in the backyard,
Yeah.
tiny ghouls that turn into semen when you smash them.
Yeah.
Then you got the dead dog back in the bed. Then you got the arms under the bed that try to get you. It's still your socks. That's a stinker right there, man. Fuck.
Yeah.
That's
The
the
old sock
worst.
demon.
The
Yeah.
worst. Then you got your freaking wall zombie. Then you got Terry getting got and turned into a rat boy. Then Steven Dorff gets an eyeball in his hand. Oh, nope, that's not to forget the house starts breaking apart. It turns into a big
Yeah.
hole in the middle of the house. Then he gets the super monster comes out and kind of just like gets a little pat on his head and he grows an eyeball on his hand. And then he's just like, this eyeball's on my hand, which I was just like, where'd that come from? It was just like I don't know if like I missed like the plot device of the eyeball in his hand, and he's just like, and just like stabs it, and you're just like, that's gone. Like, okay, like I was all right, sure, we can get past that. Like, that's fine. Like, and then you know this this giant monster is gets shot with the super rocket, right, and
Yeah.
explodes, and Steven Dorff gets shot out of the house, like
Yeah.
whipped. He should have been just like a puddle. But the horror story is like that's like all like the last what like 30 minutes of the movie. Everything just goes bonkers in like the funnest way imaginable.
Is it
But
even
like,
isn't there even the what monster gets stabbed at the Barbie leg? And
oh,
I was like
that's Rat Boy Terry.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like in my life right now it's probably the most like plausible just because what my house looks like with my daughter that I just grab a Barbie leg and stab someone.
But like, all right, so like the funny part and like the whole plot of this like movie was like to read like the rules on like demon holes. Like, okay, we got a blood. This thing needs blood. Okay, it needs a sacrifice. Doesn't have to be a human sacrifice. It's the dog.
Yeah, I got
And then it's
Angus.
just like, and then you had to like sacrifice two souls or something. And like, that seems like wildly low for an apocalypse. Like, just two? Like, like I feel like this should have happened a long time ago. Like, just two?
I don't even remember what the final thing was that wrapped this whole thing up. Like I don't know. Like I just all this happens. Like Zach's talking about these 30 minutes here, and then all of a sudden they're like on the porch. That's how it plays out in my mind. They're on the porch, and the Terry walks out. Al is there. Angus the dog is back, and
Dog's
everyone's alive.
back.
And they're like, "Whoa, that was a wild ride." And
Huh, interesting.
yeah, and it's kind of just like, yeah, well, what are we going to tell mom and dad about like the condition of the house and what happened? But so for me, I was just like very unclear about like, yeah, what is the superpower or kryptonite? Is it the rocket? Is it the prayers? Is it whatever it is? Do you remember what the final thing was that like sent them back and closed the hole?
I was like, rocket
So
got
it was the rocket. Okay, it was the rocket. Yeah,
it just ripped right through the thing and just exploded.
yeah. Okay.
And just like, oh, because that's what I was saying. I was like, like this demon's like gonna take over the world. Which like you want to give these kids like credit for like saving the entire world. That's the entire thing. But
Yeah.
like, I mean, if they didn't do it, like literally anybody else could have. Like, oh, I hit it with my fiat, dead. Like,
But that's the thing is like when you think of it was posed as like this could take over the entire world. But even when we frame it and we look at it, I'm like, it feels like there's like, yeah, just like one off in a backyard. Like the neighbors looking over is like, hey guys, can you quiet down? Like, can like bring it back. It didn't land where I guess they were really trying to push that like the love of like the brother and sister and their connection through on the nose rocket references is what took them. But then back to my point is like, so what is it? Love that takes down the demon? Is it just like
you
sibling?
know, realistically, probably was unconditional love because from what we know from Ernest Scared Stupid, unconditional love can take down like a super troll.
And any super troll that comes from a tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a tree troll,
Is this
hole
connected?
demon, same
Yeah.
thing.
The
Like,
tree had to
come
go
on.
down. It exposed the hole under the tree. This is like an earnest.
Yeah, like that. It was probably just one of Trantor's buds.
It definitely was. All right. So this brings us to the finish. The lingering impact. What sticks with you? Would you rewatch it? I'll let you take this one on first.
Well, yeah, so this is the finish. I would say the biggest takeaway from this movie is, man, Terry's so cool. Like, Terry was rad. Like, that's like,
Thank God he was mourning his mom because like it just made him way cooler.
yeah, like if this movie was made in like the 90s, like he would have loved Ozfest. Like, but, no, so like I think this movie is like a perfect representation of like the you rented a movie with your friends, you were having a sleepover. Like this is that perfect movie for that.
Yeah.
Like you and your buddies are gonna watch this movie. It's like not scary, but it's like a soft scare. You know, it's on the fringes, but like it's also ridiculous. It's zany. It has like you know when you're cooking, like you always try to like have like sweet, sour, like savory, like try to like pull all these elements and like to make a perfect dish. You're just like, it has
Mm,
everything. This is incredible. Like
yeah.
this movie is kind of like that, where like it touches so many different like elements of a movie in like a fun way. Like I don't know, like this was a fun movie to watch. Like but we're chatting when we're watching this movie, like that was awesome. It was hilarious. It was like entertaining, and like it was the perfect movie for this. Like you didn't have to pay attention that hard. Probably
Yeah.
should have. I probably have had a few more answers, like the eyeball hand.
Yeah. No, I
But
watched it again last night, and just to be clear, I was really looking out for the eyeball hand, and there really still was no,
yeah.
if someone wants to sound off in the comments and they've deep dived this a bit more, but I can't make a connection. It's like the whole like introspective, like he taps him on the head and he's like, yes, tap on the head. Like now look at the eyeball in your hand, like this self-reflection. I don't know.
All things considered, like I don't know, like it was it was fun, and I think that's like one of the most important things about a movie is like, did I enjoy myself watching that? Absolutely.
And realistically, like you said, the greatest testament to that was like us riffing and reliving that, me for the first time doing this with the film. But we had a great time chatting, and our friend Josh was in the conversation as well. And it was like the three of us just having a blast. Hey Josh, we're
Hi,
having a
Josh.
blast, and that's what it's about, right? Like you don't have to focus too much. It's a lot of fun. You know, again, they really do throw everything into the pot. If we're going with the cooking analogy, I'll go a whiskey analogy where it's like I commend it for being like a fun pour that kind of has everything. Is it the most balanced? Is there a clear through line? Maybe not. But it's still a fun and interesting one that you can enjoy. So in terms of verdict, we have to give this a pour rating. So we have neat. This is a perfect film. On the rocks, solid but flawed, or watered down, something that maybe you would skip in the future. For me, I'm gonna go on the rocks. And even though that seems like the middle of the road option, on the rocks, it made me think like this is something where like when I think about back to the Buffalo Trace, okay, back to the beginning with this pairing, is this is something I started with on the rocks. That it wasn't too serious, that I just poured it on some ice. I wasn't really in a bourbon connoisseur yet. I wasn't, highbrow about it how I am now. And I was just,
Easy.
yeah, and I was just sipping and enjoying. And that is this movie, is that it's on the rocks, is that like you're chilling with friends, you're chatting about it, you're enjoying, you don't have to go too deep, and you can just have a good time.
I'm gonna give this one neat, and like for a very specific reason. Like, is it perfect? Depends on how you look at it. Like, I think it's perfect for what it is, and I
Hmm.
think this is like a perfect party movie. Like, this is a perfect like movie to like watch with your friends and
Hmm.
just be like, yeah, that the 80's were like that. It's like a campy Evil Dead, sure. Nobody dies except the dog that comes back to life. So that's a -1. When somebody thinks of an 80's horror movie, like this is like exactly what they mean when
Yeah.
they say
I
80's
think
horror
at the
movie.
beginning when you said like zany fun, like that's what this is. and maybe you got me reevaluating my rating, but no, I'm gonna.
I mean, like I said, you watch the movie, you're like, neat, like perfect. That's a stretch. Like, I don't. It's not a perfect
No,
movie,
know what it
but
is.
under the
It's
right
perfect for
light,
what it is. Yeah,
yeah.
it's. I think that's what we'll go with. It's perfect for what is under the right light.
There is a passageway to the most evil place you can imagine. A gate behind which the demons wait to take back what was once theirs. And now, someone has opened the gate.
All right, so that's it for after the last rental. If you dig what we're doing here, remember to like, follow, comment. Let us know what movie you'd like to see Zach pull off the shelf for future episodes. Let us know what you're drinking. If you dig this shirt, we got shirts coming out, Zach and I, after the last rental shirts. You go to whiskeymorg.com and grab those. But until next time, keep your tapes rewound and your glasses full. Zach, cheers, brother.
Cheers.